Welcome back to the Woman Experience. I am so glad you're here. I look forward to this every single week, a space where I connect with other women. And though I cannot see you, I know you're here because in the last 2 weeks, we've had quite a number of new subscribers on this channel. Welcome. Karibuni sana, as we say here in Kenya. I am thrilled to be with you on this journey. Here we elevate ourselves, we are growing, we are challenging ourselves. I mean, life has its moments, we have our ups and downs, but this is a space I want you to come and know that you belong like other women in the entire world who are probably going through the same things as you. So welcome back. I also want to appreciate every single one of you who has subscribed. The growth is happening from a very young channel, and now we are on the road to 1,000. Yes, so let other women know. Please share, please subscribe. You can also like the video. It tells the algorithm that this kind of content is good. And thank you for this journey. So with that said, let's roll into the video. So today I want to talk about the lessons I am learning from successful women, high value women. I was very lucky in the last 2 weeks. I'm part of a network of women that meet up every now and then, and we discuss about issues that women in leadership face because we are in the same sector. And these meetings are such powerful spaces, especially for me and for the other women as well. So I was in that space. And then I also got to speak at a mentorship forum. This is a space where women who have gone ahead of the journey, who are in leadership, mentor young girls. And so I was invited as a speaker to talk about the art of communication. And I learned so much as well, because even in spaces where you are mentoring, you also get mentored. And so these two separate events, I realized there are common lessons, there's common learnings that I'm learning across these two spaces. And I'm learning so much from women. And I realized I want to share in my channel lessons I am learning from successful women. And by the way, you're also successful. It's just that because these women, they have achieved so much. There are lessons across board, and I hope to take you on a journey with me today as you reflect on these lessons. So grab a book and a pen, and I hope this helps. As always, I have my trusted black book, which is where I take notes, I learn. And in the comments as I talk, please, if anything strikes you about lessons you've also learned, write down below. So lesson number 1, they move with speed. And this is something I learned. So in the networking forum I was in and with both of these spaces, once they have an idea or once they have something to follow up on, they do not waste time. If they say they are going to give you a call, they call. And perhaps it's because they've realized that time is really currency. And in their journey, if you do not move with speed about an idea, about a connection or something you need to follow up on, that time is wasted and you never get it back. So there seems to be an urgency to them. Like they realize that they don't have the luxury of time. And that's something I noticed that is very, very, it's in their DNA. They move with such speed. They like you and they would like to collaborate with you on something. The following day, they've written that email, they have called. If they want to meet up for coffee, they will call you until you meet up for that coffee. So there's a kind of urgency. And I think it's because they realize that the more you move with speed on the things that you either want to test out or an idea that you have, the further along that you move. Because the 99% of us, we move much slower, right? So you have this thing that you want to follow up on, or you have an idea, or you have something that you want to do. You're like, I'll do it in the next 2-3 months, or I'll do it when I have time. These women move with so much speed and an urgency and a precision. And a tip here I could give is, the next time that you want to act, on something, please move with speed. You go somewhere, you learn something, or you want to follow up on something about either a business deal or an idea, or there's a shop owner that you met and you want to open a similar shop. Please move with speed. Make that connection, make that appointment, because they realize leveraging people and resources needs you to move with speed and don't take time. So yes, 1, they move with speed. Lesson number 2, they are strategic about the way they talk about their work and their success. So here's something very interesting I learned across board from these 2 forums I was in. These women will listen to you more than they will talk about themselves. Because what do average people do? Sometimes I've fallen into that trap. I want to tell you about my accomplishments, we meet with you, and I really like you. But because I want to make an impression, I am quick enough to speak about my successes and the things I want to do, rather than first listen to you. Because it's something they realize. When you listen more, you learn more. And their success already is there. They don't need to shout from the rooftops about their success. They are very silent. In fact, you will live there thinking that you're doing so much. Yet, when you go after those conversations and you Google them or you read more about them, you'll be like, wow, they have achieved so much. So be more strategic in listening to listening to other people and learning as much. Invest your time in listening more than you're talking. Because it's also sometimes you want to be seen as relevant. So when you're in certain spaces, you want to speak more and you want to feel like you belong. But try from now on listening more to people, listening about their industry. What can you learn from them? And why they are so good at this is because they've discovered, again, the power of moving ahead is in more knowledge, more resources, listening more and hearing what people around them are saying. Then they go ahead and digest. So you want to leave spaces where you are the listener, you are listening more, you are learning from other people more, and you're speaking less. And then when it's time for you to speak, you don't have to speak so much. It is just talking about the things that are strategic to that conversation. And in all of your accomplishments, choose what you share, especially in certain spaces, because you want to leave that other person with a connection with them. So you don't have to tell them everything you've done. Share something that you have in common with them. And so there's a point of sharing and connecting more and listening. And they are so good at it. So if for example, you're sharing about how to make it as an entrepreneur, they will only share an experience when they heard about if, for example, they were in a business or they've ever opened a business, they will share just that with you and not the entire thing, because they've realized you share strategically and you listen more. I hope that makes sense. That's lesson number 2. Number 3, they are givers. So work with me on this one. I think there's a perception going around that the most successful people don't really have time to mentor, to give. But I have been, in the course of my career, this has been disputed so many times. In fact, the times I have grown in my career is when other women have elevated me and spoken of me even in rooms I wasn't in. So these women are givers. 1, they give value. When you encounter these women, because they are listening to you more, remember the point I said, number 2, they are listening. They know how to really just sit down and listen. When you leave that conversation, you will leave either with a strategy or a question that is really good maybe for you to just think about, or a learning point. So when you spend the time right with them, they give you value. So they are givers in that sense. They are also very quick to elevate other women who are doing the work. And perhaps it's because they know that the journey of success is difficult, that there's not enough people elevating each other. And what I have seen in the course of my line of my work and in my career, they are so quick to elevate as long as you're doing the work, as long as you're ready to be mentored. They literally are givers. They can give, but only if they see that you're willing to do the work. So here's a tip. Next time when you meet someone more successful than you, do not make the assumption that they don't have time. When they give you their card, like I said, you remember point number 1, they move with speed. When you're given the card, follow up with that email. Ask that question. Move with speed, but also know that these women also want to give. And perhaps that's why in their networks, there's only people like them, because they've seen the value of giving to each other. The other learning that I learned from these women is that they are comfortable with talking about their failures. I think it's human nature that we don't like talking about things we have failed at. That side hustle that you started that did not go well, that relationship that failed, a business deal gone wrong, that time in your life when you are fired. But these women, because on their way to the top, they have seen it all. And they've realized that in this journey of becoming your higher self and becoming a leader, they've made peace with the fact that you're going to fail a lot. So if there are people who are comfortable about sharing their failures, I would dare say it's successful people, because they realize this is a part of the deal. This is a part of the journey. And what is so empowering about that, they want you to know that for whatever thing that you want to build, whatever you want to try your hand at, failure is going to be part of that journey. And so it really struck me, even in those forums, when they were giving advice, when they were sharing times when they were, at their lowest, they were really saying, I have failed, but also look at me, I have risen beyond my failures. So here's the thing, and a tip we can learn from this is, when you fail, because sometimes what failing does, it brings a lot of shame, it brings a lot of regret, it brings a lot of despair, and you get stuck in that shame, in that failing of things. It doesn't matter what you failed at, marriage, getting fired, losing a business, losing money. If you're not comfortable about accepting and sharing it with people, you know what? Of course, not everyone, but just getting comfortable to say it. I started this and it failed and I've accepted it, is a big part of your growth to becoming better. So get comfortable even just at accepting and writing down things you have failed at. And what they have done is they take stock of those failures, and what they do, for them, it's a data point that this did not work, so how can I do better? And because they are so comfortable about engaging failure and seeing what are the learning points, they move ahead much faster. So there you go. They are very, very comfortable sharing their failures and things that have not worked out for them. The next point, they are always learning something new. And I was struck about this because most of these women that I had conversations with, that I talked with, these are people, like I said, they are leading really big foundations, non-profits, corporates. They've really made a mark. But what is interesting is that most of them said that they are currently learning something new. And it doesn't matter. So for example, one person shared how they are now learning to paint, to draw, because they realize that this is a part of themselves that they want to explore, their creative side, and so they are now learning the art of drawing. For others, it's a short course they are doing on maybe negotiating, the art of negotiating, and they are taking an online course. So one thing was common across board. At no given time do they feel that they know everything. In fact, once they start to learn something, they realize there's so many other things that they do not know. And this is true for any journey. I give myself as an example. When I'm on this journey of learning YouTube, learning how to speak in front of a camera, learning how it all works, the production process, and I'm only beginning to scratch the surface. So anything that you think you're accomplished at, if you feel you're really good with where you are, why don't you try to learn something new? If you're in business, can you take a course on the art of making better sales or the art of attracting customers? Because we get into the habit of thinking because I'm already so good at something, I don't need to learn something new. But these women are always searching, they are always learning. And a tip here I would give, one also something resonating thing that when I encounter these women they do, is that they are always either reading a book, especially reading. Reading is a huge one for them. Not just fictional, but non-fictional books, things on topics like leadership, creating wealth, the art of becoming a manager, those kinds of books. So these women are constantly learning. So a tip I'd give here is take a book. Girl, read as much as you can. Be in spaces that are pushing you so that you're always continuously learning something. So successful women are always learning something new. The final thing, which was a reflection on these women, is that they are just like us. They are just like you. These are women with families. They are raising babies. They are navigating marriages. They are navigating relationships just like you, and withering, all of the challenges and the good things also that come with raising a family. They are maybe also trying, to get back their health. Some are in their postpartum era. Some are dealing with loss of friendships. Some have lost loved ones, which is all to say that they're just like you. Because sometimes when we look at these women, they seem to have it all together. And we think they're successful because that there was something in their favor, that there was something different. No, but these women are just putting in the work despite the fact that they are living life just like you are, just like I am. And so one thing that struck me is that when you see these other women, try to find out how did they navigate some of these challenges, like raising a mom and being a CEO. Raising a family and being a CEO, for example, because they're just like you. So talk to them, try and engage with them. When they give these interviews, we are in the age of YouTube, and they, a lot of, I'm sure successful women, look at their stories and, listen to their interviews. Sometimes we feel that some of these interviews are quote unquote fake or they don't count, but they really do count, because in giving their story, they're giving you what kind of mindset they had and they did to get to that level they are in. So just know that you can be as successful because these women are just like you. And there was just a sense of sisterhood. I saw these women be willing to give you, give other women their secret sauce, what they are doing, things they are doing. And a bonus one that I will leave with you is that a lot of these women talked about how staying grounded spiritually is big for them. That they pray a lot, they meditate, they stay in silence to listen to something that's bigger than them. So whatever that is for you, because a lot of them said, were it not for the fact that I pray, were it not for prayer, I pray every day, I take 10 minutes with God. I just take some time alone every day to connect with a higher power, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's also something for me that I took from these really successful women. I hope you've learned something today. I wanted to share this because I feel that some of the people who are successful, there's something slightly different about them, and it's good to share these lessons. What are the lessons you have learned either from a woman that you consider successful, a woman that you admire, or anyone who has been a mentor to you or has been a great motivator for you? Tell me in the comments. Let's connect, because I also want to learn these lessons so we keep growing. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next week, and I wish you all the best. Bye.